blimey, I didn't expect that. It's growling at me. Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol and welcome to the Suzuki Swift SZT Boosterjet. Now, I often get asked whether or not I can review some more affordable cars. I'm very, very lucky. I've got to drive some of the most expensive high-performance cars out there. But lots of people say, look, that's all very well and good, your Astons and McLarens and all those types of things, but what about a more affordable car? So I got to thinking, if I was, in my late teens, early 20s, and I wanted to kind of take a step into my first new car, that was an affordable option, what would that car be? And I actually got approached by Worthing Suzuki, and they said, look, would you like to come and have a try of some of our cars? And I was like, well, actually, do you know what, I would. And we had a bit of a chat, and that's why I'm sat in this Suzuki Swift. Now, this is the kind of middle-range Swift. It's got a 1-litre 3-cylinder Boosterjet engine. Then that produces about 109 horsepower, coupled through a 5-speed front-wheel drive transmission. And the guy said, look, this car is an absolutely brilliant car to drive. Come and have a go. So I'm here, and the weather's not brilliant today, although the sun is coming out. And my first impressions, having driven this car for about half an hour, is it's absolutely brilliant fun to drive. So let's put it through its paces a little bit. We'll pull over in a moment and let you have a look round the outside and some of the specs and details of this car. But I think as a first car, your first kind of entry into the kind of hot hatch, I think this is a brilliant option. Now, you've actually got quite a few different variants of Swift that you can go for. There's a 1.2 litre EcoJet engine, which, as the name suggests, is really focused around economy. You've got this Boosterjet engine, which has got a little bit more sport and punch, and we'll talk about the engine a little bit more because this car's got some real character to it. And then there is also a hybrid where there's a battery that recharges under regenerative braking and kind of gives you a little bit of boost to your performance. You can't run the car in full electric mode, but it's a sort of battery assistance hybrid. There's also a range of trim options, unsurprisingly, and this is the kind of middle range trim option in this particular car, but it's still got some really nice features. So let's have a chat about this engine, because it's got some mega character to it. So I think describing this car as a hot hatch would be pushing the term hot hatch just a little bit too far. It's got a lot of character. So this little 3-cylinder 1-litre Boosterjet engine, as I've already said, it produces just over 100 horsepower, 109 horsepower, but the car's quite light, it's only 915 kilos. And it's got a really nice kind of raspy bark to it, and it's a pretty responsive engine. I think the car does 0 to 60 in about 10 seconds, so you're not gonna, flatten Golf GTIs or anything in this, but it's one of those cars that give you enough performance to put a smile on your face, and you can really drive the car hard but not end up going stupidly quickly. And I think, bear in mind the premise for this video, if you were somebody who'd only been driving a short while, if you are still building up things like no claims, and I know insurance is horrendously expensive for young people these days, this would be a great little option because it gives you a really nice driving feel and a nice platform to learn to drive as well. It's got a really nice kind of steering feel. The pedals are spaced nicely. I've been heel and toeing in this car already, and when you drop the cogs, it's It sounds brilliant. So I've pulled over and I just wanted to have a bit of a chat about the cabin and some of the features in here. And for a car of this price point, it's got some pretty cool stuff. This car's got auto wipers. The next model up, you get cruise, so you don't have cruise on this particular car. But this kind of central MMI system has got some really, really nice stuff. You can connect your phone via Bluetooth, or if you've got your, I've got an iPhone, so I've got my iPhone cable, I just plug it in there. And guess what? Yes, it has Apple CarPlay. So I literally just plug my phone in. It's really, really easy. It comes up, the first time it asks you if you want to connect, then I've got Apple CarPlay and I've got all of my Apple CarPlay features on there. So, you know, bearing in mind this car, we'll talk about price point later, but this is a £14,000 car. In recent Jaguar Land Rover cars I've driven, the last one obviously being the E-Pace, you don't get Apple CarPlay, but you do in here. And I just think it's a brilliant, brilliant feature if you've never used it before. You've also got nice things in here, like a reversing camera, which is, you know, for this spec of car is really, really good. And then finally, this particular model doesn't have nav as standard, but you can get it as an option. You just plug a little chip in the top there, and then I've got navigation for the car as well. So really, really nice little head unit, very, very easy to use. So if you rev it too long, it kind of just digs down a little bit. So far, so good. I really, really like the car. It's got some, for the price point, some great features. So what don't I like? Well, you do have to kind of adjust your barometer slightly. The materials in here are, there's a nice sort of leather steering wheel, but you know, they are as you would expect of a car of this price. I think one of my main points would be, I'm finding it difficult to get really comfy in the car. Because I've got quite long legs, I've got to have the seat quite a long way back. But the steering wheel doesn't have any reach adjustment, it just has the kind of tilt adjustment. So I'd like the steering wheel a little bit closer to my body, but I can't get that. And if I move the steering forward, then, the seat forward, then my legs are going to be in the wrong place. So it's not, I can't quite get perfectly comfy, but when you chuck it around a little bit, it is a really great fun car to drive. Visibility is very good. I think the looks are great. So this car has a couple of options on the outside as well. It's got a two-tone paint job, which is a little bit more money above the standard price. It's got a really nice little roof spoiler that gives it that kind of sporty feel. And I think from the outside, the car looks really cool. Especially this one, it's got sort of the black alloys and the dark grey body and the black roof. I just think it looks really, really smart. Now if we jump in the back, so bear in mind this is a small hatch. I've got my seat as I would do if I was driving, and I'm still able to get in the back now. Look, but there's not a gigantic amount of room, but if you were a normal sized person, if you put the seat forward a little bit, there's room in here certainly for small children doing the school run and on short journeys. But you could get two large adults in here, probably not for a big journey, plenty of headroom. So there's lots and lots of space in the back of the car. There's certainly ample space in the front. And you've still got a pretty good sized boot as well. I believe it's just a little bit bigger than a mini boot, but not quite as big as a Fiesta. So if you want to kind of put it in that sort of, in that space as well. But it's a really spacious, usable car this. So as well as being mega fun to drive, it's really practical as well. I've read a few comments about this car having a harsh ride. As a Mini owner, it doesn't feel any more harsh than one of those, to be fair. It's a firm ride, don't get me wrong. It's a small, lightweight car. You can feel the bumps and the lumps, but in a way that kind of adds to the character for me. This car is all about the driving though. It does have it has a feel and a kind of character way above its price point. it's got a really nice, sun shines bright today though, it's got a really lovely kind of throaty noise to this little 1 litre 3-cylinder engine, and even going up this pretty steep hill, it's got some go. It's not going to set the world on fire when you compare it to really big hot hatches, but honestly, for a car of the size and price point, and this is a big compliment coming from me, it's very Mini-esque in its driving feel. It just has a really confidence-inspiring chuckability that I like very, very much. So I now understand when Mark from Suzuki got hold of me and he said, look, you know, I think you should come and drive the Swift, just to get you into the brand, because Suzuki got a couple of really, really interesting cars coming later this year, and I'm already lined them up for test drive. He said, you've got to drive the new Swift, you'll love it. And I do, I really, really do. I like it very, very much. It's got pretty good brake feel. As I said, you can heel and tow really nicely because of the spacing of the pedals, and when you kind of put it into a bit of a tight corner, tiny bit of understeer there, little bit of scrabbling and complaining on the way out, but it really does. It just wants to please you as a car. Kind of puts this kind of feeling into you, as if say, come on, believe me, trust me, I'm much more capable than you think I am. And you know, you can just, as long as it's in the right gear, as I said, it's only got 109 horsepower, it's gonna run out of poke eventually, but it really does. It's a really nice little driver's car, a proper first intro to hot hatches. And the amazing thing is, so let's just talk about affordability and price to finish the video off. So this car in this spec is about £14,000. But the amazing thing at the moment is Suzuki have an offer where you can get this car on 0% finance with 0 money in, and on this particular model they'll even give you £500 contribution to your first payment, which makes it a really affordable prospect. I'm not sure what the insurance would be like. You know, I'm a 45-year-old guy with full no claims, so you know it's a different proposition, but I can imagine insurance isn't going to be ridiculous. But yeah, very, very cool. So my final impressions of the car are, it's very, very surprising. Don't knock one till you've tried one. I think there are probably some brand snobs out there that look at Suzuki and turn their nose up, but their ethos is affordable cars. They're very lightweight, they've got good level of spec inside of them, and they're really great fun to drive, and this is a really, really nice car to drive. So I have to say a huge thanks to Mark from Worthing Suzuki for getting in touch and saying, come and experience a Swift for the first time. I'm so glad I did. What I'm now going to do is try and get some of the peers to this car. So I think I really do need to drive the new Fiesta, and I'm obviously a big, very experienced with Mini, but some of the other kind of contemporaries to this car, and do a bit of a sort of mini hot hatch series. But yeah, very, very cool. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have done so, give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. Suggestions for affordable cars you'd like me to try and drive, put them below and I will do my best. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button, but I will see you on the next video, guys. You take care. Drive safe.